I don't know about you, wonderful woman, but when I went through my own HA recovery process and I tried so hard to get my period back, I was constantly exhausted. And that level of exhaustion didn't leave my body for approximately 3 to 5 years after recovering my period. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Claudia Vidor. I'm a nutrition and dietetic clinician. And today we are gonna discuss how you can get your vitality and energy back if you are in the process of getting your period back or getting your second period back, or if you're in the process of trying to become a mother. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, just please make sure that you click on the link below, because that's going to help me and support me to create more free resources for all of you that are watching my content religiously. And let me tell you that I do appreciate you. I know you, I see you, and you are just making my days every single week. But now, without further ado, I really would like to discuss the 3 things that are in your control and the 3 things that you can do to really boost your energy level without changing your daily routine completely. And if you can, stick until the end, because I would like also to discuss something else that could be really contributing to your level of exhaustion, perceived or not perceived exhaustion. Now, the first step, considering that I am a nutrition and dietetic clinician, is definitely to nourish your body sufficiently. I have lots of clients coming to me wondering why they're feeling so exhausted, even though they're having 3 decent meals every single day. The reality is that it's not only about the timing of the meal, but it could also be about the quality, and it could be also the quantity that you allow yourself to have every single day. And depending on where you are in your recovery process, you may need the 3 meals plus the 3 snacks. Or if you're still training, if you're still moving, or if you're in a highly stressful position at work, you may need that constant nourishment throughout the day. Also, even though you may have 3 meals, if you're still sticking to the intermittent fasting fast, just make sure that you allow yourself sometimes to really reestablish that morning routine where you allow yourself to have breakfast before coffee and before even exercising. Caffeine is one of my best friends. I love having a cup of coffee in the morning, but mind you, if you're having a black coffee as soon as you wake up, when it's still pitch dark outside, and before having a meal, just keep it in the back of your mind that could be an energy drainer on its own. So if you still want to stick to your beautiful black coffee, make sure to consume it between 9 and 10 in the morning, because that's the time where the liver is really working at maximum capacity. And if you still want to have a delicious beverage when you wake up, you can definitely switch for non-coffee coffee brands, or you can opt for a decaf coffee with a little bit of creamer, and maybe if it's something that you enjoy, a little bit of coconut oil or a little bit of MCT oil. But the core foundation in this stage is to really make sure that you nourish yourself adequately throughout the day. Also, I spoke about the high quality foods. So whenever we say high quality protein, for example, it doesn't mean only to outsource your protein from a trusted source. So for example, instead of buying eggs that come from a farm place, just make sure that you get good quality eggs that come from a chicken that has not been stuck in a cage for the longest time. But I also sometimes talk about the type of the proteins that get eaten in combination. So you may know that, for example, beans and rice, they do complete each other and they give you all the amino acids. If you're having some collagen powder, just so that you know, it is not a complete protein. It does not contain all the amino acids. So always make sure that whenever you have a protein, it contains all the amino acids. So you're gonna get the bangs for your bucks, let's say. So that would definitely be my tip number 1, making sure that you nourish yourself, making sure that you're having adequate amount of food throughout the day. Don't skimp on the serving sizes. Always make sure that you get decent quality foods depending on your budget and wherever you live on planet Earth. And also something else that I would like you to take into consideration is that even though fun foods are always welcome. It's also a good idea if you have been facing lots of fatigue and lots of exhaustion to really welcome those veggies, those antioxidants rich foods, protein, slow GI, carbohydrates, instead of going for the chocolate bar whenever you feel a dip in your energy level. Chocolate bars are absolutely welcome at any point of the day, but if you want to really have that sustained energy, you may need to make sure that your blood sugar level is in control. So do not disregard that. I also would like to say, before I go any further in this video, that sometimes at the beginning of the recovery process, it is normal to feel more fatigued than you were before starting the process. And that's normally caused by a drop in cortisol. Having said that, if you still experience quite extreme fatigue after a month or after 2 months in recovery, or even after you get your period back, then it's really helpful to go back to the core foundation. And step number 1 is definitely nourishment. Step number 2 is hydration. We take it for granted, and we take it for granted that it's enough for our body to function on a liter of water, a couple of coffees, and 1 tea every single day. But the reality is that we need approximately 33 millimeters of water times our body weight in kilograms. So for example, let's say that you have 50 kilograms, you will need approximately 1.6 liters of water. If you're in a stressful situation, if you're sleep deprived, if you're postpartum, if you're pregnant, if you haven't had a period for a long time, if you're training, if you're in a warm environment, if you're living in a hot temperature or very tropical climates, for example, you will need at least another 700 mils of water on top of your bare minimum, which is your 1.6. So right now, just find your body weight in kilograms, and it doesn't have to be the perfect number. So you don't have absolutely to step on the scale for that, but just picture in your mind where you're sitting at, and it could be somewhere between 50 and 60 or 60 and 70, for example, and multiply that by 33 millimeters. And you will understand how much is the minimum amount of fluids that you need to drink every single day. Our body is made approximately 70% by water, and whenever we experience headaches, whenever we experience fatigue, even hunger, lethargy, and whenever we feel angry, is sometimes simply caused by dehydration. So don't take this lightly, and definitely making sure that you hydrate yourself properly at least 3 days before going for a blood test, and the morning that you do go to get your blood test done. Otherwise, your liver function enzymes, your HA1BC is going to be impacted, and it's going to give you a wrong reading. Step number 3, obviously, is sleep, because it's absolutely impossible to feel recharged and to have that steady energy that doesn't feel so wiry and so stressed when we don't sleep enough. Now, it's not only about the quantity, it's not about only how many hours of sleep you get every single day, but it's also about the quality of your sleep. So for how many hours can you stay asleep without getting disrupted, for example, without getting woken up by a child, by the dog neighbors, by your cats, or by something else? What time do you go to sleep? You may know by now that the best quality sleep happens between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. So if you're missing out on that high quality sleep zone, then it's gonna be much harder for you to feel productive and to feel energized during the day. Also, if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, how often does that happen? And once you get woken up at 3 o'clock by whatever it's happening around you, how much does it take you to fall back to sleep? To top it all off, I really would like to encourage you to switch off the Wi-Fi at least 1 hour before going to sleep, and to not check your phone for at least 1 hour, if not even 1 hour and a half before hitting the pillow. You can, for example, choose to read a book, do some stretching, do some guided meditation. That's the only time that you can actually use your phone. Making sure that you are using some blue blockers sunglasses or glasses whenever you can, and just dim the lights around the house. Our melatonin production gets shut down if we go from an environment where all the lights are dimmed to the bathroom and then switch on the very powerful neon lights. So be aware of all these little tiny changes that can disrupt all the hormones and chemicals in our body. And now, because you have got to this point of the video, first of all, I would like you to thank you so much. And once again, do not forget to subscribe by hitting the button below. But there is something else that I would like to share with you. If you have been in a chronic, stressful state for a long period of time, it really makes a lot of sense that you are experiencing lethargy and fatigue. If you are one of those people that cannot sit down on the couch without thinking about the future, without worrying about the future, or without ruminating on past behaviors, or if you are the kind of person that is sitting on the couch checking Instagram while watching Netflix, while also thinking about something else that could be done at that specific time, let me tell you that you're never in a state where your brain can really switch off, recharge, and heal. So an inflamed brain can give you all the symptoms that you may have been experiencing right now, such as exhaustion, lethargy, and really the very poor tolerances to changes in your environment, such as loud noises, strong smells, people talking on top of each other. And this is I'm going to give you an example that maybe you can apply in your life. Let's say that you go to a restaurant where the music is very loud and there are a couple of people that are sitting there with you and they're both talking with a very loud voices. If you experience a little bit of overwhelm in that state, it means that your brain is a little inflamed and needs some tender loving care. How can you give that tender loving care to your brain? By focusing on the present moment, by breathing deeply from your belly, by doing some meditation, some gratitude, by writing in your journal, by taking a break from all the things that are happening on a day-to-day, by doing some clinical EFT, or even known as clinical tapping, by taking a shower without the lights on, without music, without anything, by going for a walk in nature without bringing the phone with you. Those are wonderful ways to really recharge your brain and decrease that feeling of exhaustion and overwhelm that normally happens at the same time. So make sure to really boost your vitality and create a resilient brain by just following these very simple tips. And if you need any help, and if you would like to get a support of a professional that has gone through infertility, hypothalamic amenorrhea, chronic fatigue syndrome, and chronic pain, please make sure that you reach out to me. I would love to be talking to you, and I would love to hear how I can support you. All the links are down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.